This has gotten a lot of publicity. Hailie Deegan and AM Racing have both posted on social media that they are parting ways. AM Racing has Josh Berry tentatively scheduled to drive the car at Pocono this coming weekend, but Joe Logano was asked to jump in at Chicago, goes out there, stays out of trouble, two-time champion, smart racecraft, top 10. He didn't go out there and light the world on fire. This will be heavily debated. What does this mean for Hailie Deegan? How does she find a way back to getting herself in a program that continues to help her progress? TJ, you've actually, I think you've worked with her in the past.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, you would be a great person to chime in on this. I'm sure you guys talked about it on Dobro Per Clear.
Yeah.
I think that she absolutely should pursue more opportunities, either in the trucks or the Xfinity Series. I do not know enough about AM Racing to be able to make a to make a decision on what talent Hailie has and whether she really truly deserves to continue. I believe she should, and I think that in a good scenario where I think in the right situation, there's enough want to that she could actually turn into quite an accomplished racer at some level. Whether it's, I don't know if it's a cup level, but I think in the right scenario, she could become a contender.
Yeah, I agree.
In the truck or the Xfinity Series. The cup's a whole nother beast, but you worked with her. What do you think?
So, I think Hailie is incredibly talented. I went and did the first couple races with her. I think I went to Sonoma and was spot for her. She sat on a pole for the West race there, which is, that race is filled with cup guys and stuff, and she goes out there and qualifies on the pole for it. I think we run 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that, but competitive.
Yeah.
So I just think the situation didn't pan out as well. Hailie, she doesn't have enough experience in these cars to go and tell you, hey, this is what I need to feel at this part of the track. This is what I need to feel here. And the truck is so different than what the Xfinity car is. She just doesn't have the experience to say that stuff. So putting a guy like Joey in there and Josh Berry, they can say, hey, you guys need to work on this.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to work on that. Joey wasn't in that car to get, he was in the car to get experience for the cup race and to let them guys know, hey, this is the part you need to work on, because obviously, the car can get better. So, but I think Hailie needs to just go and be surrounded by A's. She needs to go and be surrounded by people that can tell her, this is what you need. This is what you need to feel. This is what you need to do here. And then she can learn them scenarios and learn that feel and then grow as a driver. It's hard. She just doesn't have the experience to go in there and tell them guys, hey, this is, the car's way off here. You could go out there and run one lap at any of these tracks in the Xfinity car and say, hey, this thing's way off.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that. So she can't. You waste time trying to figure that out. But I do think Hailie's incredibly talented, and given the right scenario, I think she can be successful.
Yeah. I don't know if this will make sense or not, but Hailie is a product of a very challenging system. And this is the same for a lot of drivers that I've worked with and a lot of drivers that I've seen that work their way from, whether it be racing at Millbridge to late models to super late models, the truck and the Xfinity opportunities that eventually come along. And a lot of times, whatever the financial support is for a driver, it is very difficult wherever that financial support's coming from, whether it's a sponsor, whether it's family, whatever that support is, it's still a lot of money, a huge commitment, and it's not forever. And so what happens is, and this is, I believe, somewhat similar for Hailie, is so in a perfect world, you would let Hailie or any of these other drivers run in that that K&N series or run super late models or run trucks a few more years, right?
Sure.
And what happens is that there's a bit of an urgency to try to move up and take the very next available opportunity at the next level, because the support financially is not forever. And you do not know when that finally dries up. For whatever reason, you lose that financial support. So every rung on the ladder that develops above you, whether it's the Truck Series or Xfinity Series, no matter how good or bad that rung is, you grab it.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times drivers then ultimately end up in bad situations that don't
pan out
for them.
Yeah.
And this is one of those scenarios where I think that she felt like, man, I really got to take this. This has been presented to me, and I got to take it. It's Xfinity. I think I fit those cars better. I think I'll do a better job in this series. And she took it when it might not have been the opportunity she should have chosen.
Yeah.
What other things she could have done, I do not know. Whether it had been stay in the Truck Series. But I see this with a lot of drivers that are trying their hardest to get to the very top, taking the next opportunity that presents itself at the next level and trying to progress as quickly as possible, because you can't sit here and fund a late model program or a super late model program or a truck program or a K&M program forever.
Yeah.
And and they're like, well, we're spending all this money, let's just go spend it here. And then they're spending all this money, let's just go spend it here. And they just they just end up in bad situations.
It's all about timing.
It is. It's about timing.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
Yep. But it's frustrating to see it.
Yeah.
Because that if you could have predicted or chosen Hailie's path, you would have certainly sent her in a different direction, right? Mm-hmm. If you could have taken the last 5 years and done something differently with Hailie's career, you would have not put her on this path.
Yeah.
You would have done it differently. And I could say that for a lot of different drivers that I believe had the talent but just ran into the wrong situations.
Yeah. And don't forget, in the beginning of her NASCAR career, the bigger track stuff was during COVID.
Yeah.
So her first laps on all these tracks when she first got in the Truck Series was lap 1, turn 1. We didn't even qualify.
Yeah.
So we lined up and raced, and that was her rookie year.
And I don't know that this is a young team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Trying to put itself together, trying to build some notes and get a foundation, and getting a young driver that lacks experience
doesn't help them grow.
And so they'll very much benefit from what
100%.
they learned with Joey and whatever they may do going forward. And but I would say Hailie would probably be better off with a team that has some some foundation underneath it, that's been. Yes. A team that's had these type of drivers come in and that knows what they need, how to sort of, I don't want to use the word coddle, but almost knows how to handle these inexperienced young drivers and how to protect them.
Yeah. That's been shown a little bit when she ran Vegas.
Yeah.
In that first Xfinity race, she ran Vegas and ran between 10th and 15th all race.
And whose car did she drive?
That was a Stewart-Haas car.
Yeah.
So, and for her first race in Xfinity, and Vegas isn't by any means the easiest track we go to with the characteristics of the track.
Yeah.
And for her to run 10th to 15th in her first race, that's what she needs.
Well, I think it's best that they're going their separate ways, and I think
sure.
AM should definitely try to tab some Josh Berry types that can sort of help them say, hey, man, and they need to listen to these drivers. Hey, this is what's wrong with your program. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is where you're short. This is where your performance is lacking.
Yep.
And they can build their program and then maybe go back to hiring a full-time driver that
you
might
get better names
them.
too. Yeah. More better names want to go and work and drive for you.
Yeah. And maybe Hailie can find herself a situation. She doesn't need to upgrade so much in terms of race teams, but there are some great teams out there that might be in line with her funding and support that have been around a while, right, in the series, that do just this, right? They take on these sort of projects and develop them. We'll just have to see what happens. I'd hate to see her just go elsewhere.
I know,
Right.
yeah.
I hate to see her give up on stock car racing altogether.
And she is. I mean, she's good for the sport too. To have, I mean, there's a lot of kids. I mean, when I worked with her in the trucks, I mean, you know, Stella, my youngest, she's like, I'm a huge favorite driver. Hailie. I mean, kids gravitate towards that stuff.